It is a lovely day here in old Alberta for our weather. That is very, very exciting because we actually have not had great weather since I think winter.
Yeah, it feels that way.
It sure does, by cracky.
But we've got some sunshine today, so let's put a little skip in our step, I would say. It's helped us a little bit here because things are, again, with the ugly, nasty word of life going on, we've been shut down a little bit more again. And this is a perfect topic, though, because this stuff keeps coming and we all keep getting
heavy here,
overwhelmed, right? And thinking.
And and this hurts so much. And this is where that releasing piece and kind of being in our moment, because that's all we actually are given. It might just help for not only your horse, but also for you in today's program.
In today's program.
I should call it a program, not a live, just a program.
In today's program, we're going to be talking about the importance of releasing. And again, releasing not only our horses, but ourselves too, and finding the ways that work for us to do that, because everybody's going to be a little bit different on it. First and foremost, before we go into all of this, we'll do, of course, the quick introductions. My name is Carolyn Charles. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing, as well as an instructor and facilitator for the Equine Connection, the Academy of Equine Assisted Learning, Inc.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie Fulmek, the founder and master instructor for the Equine Connection, helping humans globally around the world to help other humans. And what an amazing time to be an entrepreneur and starting your own business in this world that desperately needs all of us so much, because mental wellness to me would be the hugest piece for families, individuals, humans struggling in this really tough time. So our horses give so much to that healing and being able to move forward, because when we live here, our horses help us to come back down again. And our horses are the teachers, believe it or not. If you can imagine, it's actually the horses who teach in our objectively driven program. So every exercise has an objective to help a human move forward, but the horse literally does the teaching. And then we as facilitators do the step in when our horses actually tell us to step in. We don't try to work with human problems or situations. We just allow the horse to do their natural job. And because the number one thing a horse needs to feel is safe. And of course, with our certification, the foundation of everything we do is the welfare of the horse first, because when they're safe, they make it everything else safe, and every human who comes in to play with it.
But it's such a great parallel with horses and the need to feel safe as well, because when you really think about us as humans, we have that need. We have the need to feel safe too, and that's a big part that's kind of missing in today's world and society, as well as we don't all feel safe. And that's not, and it doesn't matter what side of the coin you're on or anything else like that. None of us feel safe. We feel like we're in an unsafe little world right now that we need to start to release.
And it's so scary. So we do have to release. And here's the thing. I would say at least 6 times a day, we're going to have to learn to release, because oh my gosh, you automatically go to your brain on a continuum, because you're always hearing different things, or you're feeling different things in your own way, right? Yeah. So it's so important that as soon as it kind of hits here, we got to take it down here, because otherwise this is what can mess us and not live.
Yes. Right. Well, we got a couple people coming in already. We do want to hear who you are and where you're from, so please throw that in the comments as well. We got Libby on already. Andrea, she says we're speaking her language.
Yes.
Release, I love that. Regina from Ontario. Joanne's on. Good morning to everybody out there. Again, we'll go into this piece too. If you guys hear something today, and maybe it is just the fact that we need to stop and release, that is like a light bulb's coming off for you, throw in that hashtag
Holy jumping tuna fish,
because that's the way we know that we've hit the target, or we've blown your mind, or something new has happened for you. So throw in that hashtag for us. And then, of course, share. This is the time, people. We need to share the good stuff. Be kind. See, my shirt even says it. It's time to be kind. Share this out. Let other people get some ideas on how they can release too, because we all need it. Our horses need it. Our souls need it. Our pets need it, because they're feeling all of our stuff. Release is big right now, people. It's big. Huge. And also, if you're catching us on replay, throw in that replay for us as well, so we can come and say hello to you after the live too. So yeah.
So one more thing before we get going. One thing to keep in mind anytime we are doing our live, because you are our tribe, our herd, all of our followers on Facebook, all of our facilitators, like we're just one global big family. So one thing to always keep in mind, even as we're doing this release piece, we are all life changers. Every single one of us on this earth that exists is a life changer of some way. Maybe that kind word you said, or that smile, or, helping someone else, maybe because you have a horse or an animal, just allowing them to even be in the country, to just breathe it in without mass or whatever it is in your region. But one thing we really always just, we are life changers, and every single one of us have to know it. And this is what our new tribe, our new herd, our new family, we're always going to start with, we are life changers. And it is, put a hashtag on it, because that is what we all are.
And let's start it across. Everybody is, right? So use the kind words, do all those pieces, and start using the hashtag, people. We want more life changers and things happening.
It's so funny because
exactly
Joanne, one of our facilitators, said, Carrie, what happened to your eye? Now, a long day ago. Now, I've had this for a couple, I never know which side. There we go. For a few years, actually. And of course, I've been referred from specialist to specialist. The last specialist said it was nothing. Then when I went to my doctor, she says, oh no, this is something. And then she sent me to another dermatologist specialist. As soon as I walked in the door, he says, that's cancer, 100%. He goes, but we're going to do a biopsy just to make sure, but it is cancer. So then, of course, I'm like, okay.
The bedside manner was phenomenal.
He shoots me in with needles. I'm like, okay, so what are we doing? Oh, I'm just going to scrape off for a biopsy. Okay. Then I smell my skin burning. I'm like, what you doing? And he goes, I'm cauterizing right now. And I'm like, oh, that's good to know. So he goes, it's going to look like someone put a cigarette out on your face. Well, just FYI, I have had this now for 6 weeks? 6 weeks. There's nothing, you see no scar going away there. So anyways, yes, they called it's cancer. I got to go in and I got to get something else dug out. But I'm like, okay, so on my face now is going to be a big red blotch for the rest of my life.
No, we are going to fix the red blotch.
She's going to show me how to use concealer, because I do not use concealer.
No, I'll show her how to use it, but there's also like vitamin E. There's different things you can put on there to diminish the signs. So we'll get her feeling happy again. And it's funny because we're big believers on it's what's on the inside, and
that's
healing
beautiful.
And everything good in here first. But there's something to be said for looking in the mirror in the morning and be like, what is that?
I know.
Why is it here? And then it bothers you.
It really does. Thanks, Joanne.
But it is so important that you do have to put that kind of energy into yourself too, to make yourself feel good on both sides of things, right? So
that's
inside,
right.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. But if something's bugging you, it's fair to fix the outside too.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. So what is releasing? Releasing is so valuable. And, so many, I guess you would say in different areas, we would call it a different language, maybe releasing that energy, letting go of the stuff we don't want to carry. And not only do we take it on as humans, as we all know where we're at right now, but our horses, they take on a load, not only from people who work with our horses. Maybe you're a riding instructor, maybe you are in equine assisted learning where it's on the ground, maybe it's just you. We put a lot of heaviness of what it is, our stimulus is, onto our horses. Whether we mean to or not, we're all living beings, and we have that energy piece, and it's just automatic as to what it is we feel. It's kind of like you meet a person for the first time. Well, in the olden days, you meet a person like in the olden days for the first time, and you're like, oh, there's something about them that's not jiving with my being. You can't put a finger on it, but you just feel it's not right. Or vice versa. You meet someone, you're like, my kind of people.
Yeah, we jive.
Yes. And it's all that feeling. And we love science, everything that we do. And it's the fun science, but we love science because we don't want to do anything that's just fluffy and we hope it works, or, oh, isn't that nice that you think that this is what the horse is saying? Everything we do is from science and research. That's why we love it so much. So we know it works.
Absolutely. And I'm loving the comments here. Andrew says Reiki. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly
Reiki's
correct.
Beautiful. Send some.
Please do.
You send some, Andrea. I like that.
That's
And then I
right.
love Leah's. Everybody's got your back here, Carrie. Yes,
Aw.
vitamin E, essential oils, all
okay.
kinds of things.
Okay.
Frankincense oil kills cancer cells and is the balm for skin conditions too.
Really? Frankincense.
What does myrrh do? I've always
don't know.
wondered. I don't even know what myrrh is. I'll be
Well,
honest
me
with you.
either, but I'm liking the idea of the old frankincense.
Yeah, we can get you some frankincense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
See, look at that.
Thank you, everybody. You see, this is why we are all life
I was
changers.
just going to say
Right?
that. Yes.
Because look at even how you're helping me, and how interesting that Joanne pops on today and even asks about my eye. Because who else would ask about my eye if you didn't know me, right? Because you probably wouldn't say, hey, what's that big stain on your face? They're a stranger.
No,
I don't think you would.
Joanne did not say, what's the big stain?
No,
Just
I
ask
know,
me.
but that's what I'm saying. It's only because Joanne knows me. She knows it didn't exist before.
Yeah.
So because she knows me, she was able to ask what happened to your eye, where a stranger would not say what's on that face of yours.
Everybody's on the frankincense. So that's good
Okay,
stuff.
interesting.
Frankincense it is.
Okay, well, moving on. Let's go into the science pieces.
The science pieces of releasing. So I wish I had that flip chart or something with me. That would have been
Me
smart.
too.
But we'll kind of explain it this way. So what happens in our body is not only do we react with sometimes physical ailments to different emotional stresses and that kind of things. We can get stress headaches, many backaches, shoulder pain from when we tighten up and all of those things. So those things happen within our body, but the energy and how it flows in our body is a big piece of how we need to help ourselves to release. So we have these things throughout our body called fascia bands. Ooh. Fascia bands, they're kind of like the saran wrap that holds all of your guts and muscles in place. So it doesn't sound but it's very important.
It's good for us as humans that everything is strictly put into order in our bodies.
Yes, we need everything held in. So that's good stuff. So what they actually are as well is our energy highways. So it's basically how all of the bunch of energy is flying through our body. Now we're not talking energy like if you're going to airy fairies or anything else like that, although energy is science, right?
Yeah.
Energy is just, we know that we are all made up of energy. The table is, the mic we have here is, Carrie and I both are, but it just vibrates at a different speed. So as it's flowing through our body, through these fascia bands, sometimes with emotional distress or physical distress, it can get stuck. So it's kind of like a kinked hose, and that energy just can't bust its way through. So we need to find our ways to release and unkink the hoses. Now you look at horses out in a field, they're sitting there and they groom on each other. They're not just always itchy.
Or are they? Because even if they are, that's still energy.
It's still energy.
Right? So they're helping with that energy and moving it.
Yes, and they definitely have purpose in doing that. And you'll see horses do that. That's how they balance each other too. Horses also help to balance us the same way. But if you don't have horses all the time, what are the different ways that you can kind of open up those hoses to let the energy flow through nicely? There's a cool study, if you guys are interested at all, that we can send you to about how our emotions actually affect where the energy clumps within our body. And it's not as balanced when it's different types of energies, like depression. It doesn't flow through our body like it should. Sadness, again, anger, even jealousy or greed, things like that. They all affect our body in different ways so that we are balanced or non-balanced with the energy that flows.
I think this is a really nice. Now, this is a research piece, and it's called actually research mapping, but it's not we who've done the researching because we're not scientists.
No.
So it's okay. But we study all the research that's been done. So if you want to email Carolyn, because we're actually giving away now 2 gifts. See, we didn't even plan to give away this one, but
here we are.
You know, if you're like us, and like for me, I know, and for you, anything that we do in this world, whether it's starting a new career, using frankincense versus vitamin E oil, we research everything. We don't just do it because someone says just do it because it works, right? So it's really exciting because even though it's called mapping, it's sorry, not about the map.
It's not about that. It's about how things are properly flowing through your body.
It's so dry in Alberta.
But it's a great way to put a little bit of a visual, I think, to some of the things that we know we feel already. And that's one of the things I think asking the why question is so important about. And we ask why a lot.
Oh,
like the vitamin E, frankincense. Now we're going to want to know why it works. So we'll probably do a little bit of research on it because that's just how we roll. We like to know these pieces. Yeah.
And fascia, I thought I'd give you an example as well. I'm so sorry, but I really do have a tickle there. It's like the saran wrap that goes over, let's say, meat or vegetables that you see in your grocery store. If you pop a hole in that saran wrap, that fascia can never go back together again. So you'll notice maybe even on your horses how some of your horses have indentations where their fascia bands are. That fascia band has been broken. Yeah. So it can't be fixed again. Can you help your horse? Can you help with yourself? Of course you can, doing certain massages and certain things to do. But once the fascia is broke, it doesn't grow back together. But the energy highways can still be moving and rolling. Absolutely. So that is the beauty with that. But just kind of giving you a comparison. So we should tell the story about JR one time.
Oh, yeah, we can tell that one. I was just going to say it can be an out dent as well. So where things are kind of coming out. I have one on my leg. There is no way my leg can come up this high to be able to show you guys right now. But I have like a little bump by my ankle that never hurts or anything else like that. And I was asking for you, what the hell is this thing? Like, am I just retaining water in like one spot on my leg? No, it's just because I have a fascia break there. So it always just bulges out in that little spot, and that's how it will be now. So it can be an outdent or an indent or whatever, but you can see those little spots in your horses sometimes and wonder what the heck are they, or on ourselves. It could be just a fascia break as well.
Absolutely. And the second gift we're going to give you today, it's so exciting because it's how to actually help your horse and release and get rid of the things, but it actually also helps us. So it really is remarkable, and we'll touch on that. But our one horse, JR, she's our oldest horse. She's a brood mare. So she is on her, I think it's 28 now. It's either 27 or 28. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So anyways, what happened to her a couple of years ago is I noticed she had an indentation just in her shoulder area. So of course, we don't know what that is at the time, even though we know fascia and we understand those pieces. So anyway, she is lame. So I've always thought, it's maybe from the shoulder, it's not to do with the fascia band that she's lame. But anyways, I had a massage therapist come in to work on JR, because that's what you do. Try to help out some of these oldies, get things moving. Yeah,
we need it.
In the fascia regions, right? Now, Carolyn and I were in the arena before the massage therapist came, and Disco, which is one of our horses who has a broken foot. If you can believe this.
Anybody who does Reiki out there, send it to his foot too. We need that.
Seriously, I opened a field and it was still frozen here in Canada, in Alberta. The ground had no snow on it. So I want you to understand, it was just brown. Let them out. They're all having fun. He's doing some crow hopping. He freaking breaks his foot just because of how he jumped up, put the pressure back down, and seriously, broke his foot all the way up. Now, we're not sure if it's hit his coffin bone, so we were having to do all kinds of things right now. Of course, vets are coming out, but his foot is kind of sealed in and casted, so we'll know after 12 weeks if he is going to survive or not.
Send good vibes, people, because
we don't know.
He's a superstar and has helped so many people and so many horses too, as we'll tell you. He needs to heal.
So anyways, here's Disco and our beautiful brood mare, JR. Now, Disco and JR have a very special relationship. They are just that old couple who just are always holding hands. They are just a couple. That's all I can tell you. But a couple in love.
He'll go and if the other horses are kind of in her space, he'll go in between and just put his head over her to kind of protect. And then even right now when he's stalled, JR just goes and hangs with him because they love each other.
They really do.
I know we always say don't put on human emotion, but they do.
We have to put this on human emotion on. So anyways, Carolyn and I are talking and we're looking at JR because her eye is very, very heavy. And we're like, oh, poor sweet JR, tell us, what can we do to help you? Now, this is what Disco did, because Disco is with us. Disco moves my hand and then goes over to Carolyn and moves her hand. So pay attention to me. And then he goes to her shoulder where this little indentation is. So we're like, did that just happen?
Did he just answer?
Yeah. So then we asked again, JR, is there anything or any place that we can help you with? Disco takes my hand again, moves it. But this time when he takes Carolyn's hand,
I had put my hand up kind of like this so that I was trying to feel if there's heat or something like that going on with JR. So I was kind of down this way, and he came and he moved my hand and then pressed on the back of it and pushed my hand against her shoulder.
No, we were freaking freaking to the nine. We're like, oh my gosh, these horses literally just told us something. And then, of course, all the yawning, the releasing that was coming from them, and the gratitude that we heard them, their muzzles coming in. It was absolutely phenomenal. So then, of course, this massage therapist comes. So this would be, I guess, a few days later.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to tell her anything, not one thing. So she's doing JR. It's about an hour. I come in and I said, so how's it going with JR? Are we finding anything? She goes, interesting. She goes, I've done her entire body. She said, I found nothing. She's really feeling good. Then she says, I go over to this area. And that's when she saw that little indentation. She goes, yeah, the fascia band. And I'm like, no shit. My gosh.
Yeah, that's what.
So then she gave us homework that we do with JR to help her. But I just thought, how cool. I didn't say anything to her. Carolyn was at home because that's what she does. She drives home.
I go home at night.
But
we don't live together.
No, we sure don't.
No.
But it was just so amazing that Disco told us before a human being told us. It was outrageously amazing.
And this is where it goes to that listening part too. And I know all of our facilitators that are on here, we really do hammer home. We got to listen. We got to take into account what the horses are actually saying to us. If we had not stopped to ask the question and to allow him to do that piece, because he was in our space 100%. We were tight in there. And had we done the typical thing, oh no, out of my space, or oh no, you don't need to do that right now, or we would have totally missed it. But by stopping and listening and watching what they're actually telling us, it's so profound. Like that will never leave my brain ever.
Coke. Okay, so for releasing for oneself, before we again get to our horse piece, and this horse piece that we are actually going to share with you is what they do in the wild. So these are the pieces we always want you to know. We're not just doing it to just do it. We do it because the mama does this with her babies.
And that's how they learn to initially release.
To get rid of the stuff they no longer need to carry. So what are some ways that you guys actually get rid of the things you don't need to carry? Because it's such a hard world right now. And again, even for myself, I love life. Like I love breath coming in my nose. I love everything about life. But I have to tell you, as an amazing, positive person, and I love freedom so much. Like it's what makes me feel alive, freedom, and feeling the way I feel here with what's happening. I have to literally, and I think it is 100 times a day, that when my brain goes there, I have to go, Carrie, this is what I want you to think about. So I personally have something that I always say to myself, but what do you guys do to get rid of something because that is a releasing system, because you're kind of dumping the thought that shouldn't exist because it's not helping us to grow. Yeah. It's not helping us to feel healthy.
It's not helping us.
And helping and moving forward, because worry does nothing for any of us. That's why horses are so brilliant. They don't live in worry because they're incapable of living in worry because they don't have the brain that we have to bring that on. The number one thing they need to feel is safe. So they're always living in their moments of what that is and reacting to that moment.
I love this, Regina. Her release is grabbing her camera and going out to nature. That's stunning.
See, that feels lovely.
Feels
absolutely.
Good. I acknowledge, stop, and acknowledge, then I let it go.
Right.
That's
in the
really
moment
good too. And you know, it's funny because some of us are more mindful than others. And I can say that in the past, I've not always been a mindful person as far as where I've gone. And I am an excellent worrier, like excellent worrier for
100%.
Sure. Yeah, I can do it. and I will say that's a positive in some ways because I know that I care so much about others and I know that's my heart and everything else. But worrying is heavy, man. Like you have to be able to justify that worry at the end of the day. And that's one thing I think I learned with boundaries. Boundaries are big for being able to release, is if I set the boundary for myself and what I can and cannot change, then I can get past the fact that I don't actually have to worry about that because I don't have to change it. But that's being mindful in what I'm worrying about in the first place. Even my daughter's 10 and her dad and I have 50-50 custody. When she goes there, I didn't sleep for years,
Yeah.
for like every second week, because it got to the point where I just was worrying. I was worrying. And at the end of the day, I can't control it all. So I have to set that boundary and let those pieces go for myself in whatever way it helps me to do that. Right.
Absolutely. I know in the olden days, I used to cry a lot. Crying was a great shower cry.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't cry in front of people, although now I'm much mushier. So
yeah, talking about disco,
no, seriously. But those release cries, man, it feels so good. Like I haven't been able to do a cry in this scary time. Just I don't know why. I think because my brain feels like it has to stay in a place. You've got to do logical thinking. You got to do research. You get your brain being in a logical place. I don't know, but it's not made me want to release. But crying is a beautiful thing. If you're gifted with the tears, cry it out, because it also releases a beautiful thing in our human bodies. What is it? Oh no, I was not going to say the word, but it actually is.
And not endorphins.
Oh my gosh, starts with an O. Oh my goodness. Do you guys know it? When you cry, it releases a chemical, a beautiful chemical in our body. Oh,
someone tell us.
Oh my goodness. Okay, it's gone. You see, the brain doesn't even work anymore in this world. I don't know what it is. Anyways, crying is a beautiful. Oh, I thought it was just coming to me, but it's not. And even happy tears, that's a beautiful thing to release as well, if you can.
Oxytocin.
That's it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, it's like somebody's gonna get it for us.
Wow, that was a tough one.
That was everybody.
Oh, thank you, everybody.
I love it. Oxytocin it is.
You see, we are life changers. All of you. All of you. Okay, thank you.
I love some of the other answers too. Breath work, awareness, and yes, going to grab cameras. Photo is huge, because I think for a lot of people that's a great way. Same with art, same with music. Music is huge. I love music.
Dancing, moving, singing, whether you got a voice or not, who cares? Sing it to the world if you're all by yourself, because this releasing piece actually has to do with me, myself, and I. It's got to be a very personal thing, and how it is that you're releasing. And you know what? Sometimes screaming your face off out in the world, just screaming and yelling, that's a great release out of your system as well, because it's getting rid of the stuff that is pent up inside.
We used to do that when we were kids, right? Like we would go so mad at our parents because we have the worst lives ever, and so I'm leaving and moving out, and you go running upstairs and into your pillow, right? Like as kids, we knew how to do some of those things.
That's right. It was natural.
It was, because they don't overthink it. And I love Mike's too, racing cars. This just goes to show how everybody's is different, right? And some people working out does it for them. Not
us. We work out twice a week.
We don't like
No, there is not one time in a year that it has entered our brain that we enjoy it, that we like it, that we want to do it. But what do? We do it because we know it's a very healthy thing for us right now.
And I want to eat the food, and I want to drink the beer sometimes. I want those pieces in my life. And without working out, I don't feel as though I can do that and still be happy with this.
Oh, that's true. Because I do believe a lot of us have gained a lot of weight in this time. I really do believe it. What was that? The breathing. Now, here's an interesting piece as well, because breath, you're right. It is huge. And it's funny, as humans, we have to breathe. All living beings, it's breath all the time. However, we didn't know that we were actually doing it wrong. I didn't know you could breathe wrong. So we had taken a workshop a few years ago in Montana, because we're always about personal development, learning more about the horses, and of course, connecting more in their communication and how they actually speak versus us humans putting on emotion or communication that doesn't exist. So as we're there, this lady is teaching us how to breathe. Alicia, that was it, Alicia. And oh my goodness, it took Carolyn and I weeks to figure out how to do that, because you got to use your nose. See, I didn't know this either. Use your nose to breathe in the breath, and you fill up your belly. Then you fill up your lungs. Then, still mouth closed, using nose, you breathe out the air and you push it back to your spine. And you keep doing that. We were like losers.
I remember, here. She kept poking me in the belly. I'm like, I am not the Pillsbury Go Boy. I'm like, I don't understand what you're asking from me.
But anyways, that is, we tell our people who come here all the time as well. What we learn, we like to pass on because we didn't know that we were breathing right. But I do have to tell you, this has helped this breathing tenfold, 100 different ways. Like even in the dentist, when they put, here's my freedom thing again. Mine is always about freedom because I'm like the wild animal in the zoo. I shouldn't be that. I need to be free to be free. So in the dentist, they put that plasticky thing on when they're working on a tooth. Seriously, I am in panic veal. Now they've caged me in with this thing. And all I do is just do this breathing system now, and I can get through it. I have to tell you, sometimes because my throat, everything, I didn't know I could have anxiety like that. But yeah, I think every human on earth has something that
sure.
an anxiety piece can happen. So
and it's not even like just stuff over your face. So we worked together
that's true.
in an office previously, if you guys can believe it. And Carrie used to go do her thing, and then she'd come in for a bit, and then she'd be gone. And then she'd come in for a bit, and then she'd be gone because she'd go get sponsorship and do all these other things. And that's like, you didn't say, Carrie, I need you here from 10:30 till 5, because that just wasn't the thing to do. And then when things changed at that place, all of a sudden it was, you got to be in the office from this to this. Well, I tell you, you guys, 3 hours in, 3 hours was what Carrie could manage. And she's like, oh my gosh, it's hot in here. What's going on in this place? Like, oh my goodness, maybe we should go outside for a quick second. Like she is like a zoo caged animal. Once you put her in a room for too long, she cannot handle it. And it was the same thing.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. So these are beautiful ways to release. So for our pony pones, our beautiful pony pones. And you know what? I actually use this system now, even on a dog. I'll even pat my head sometimes to just say,
it's true.
Get rid of all this stuff you don't need, because I don't know. Here's the thing. If you believe in the process, and we believe in it first because of research and because it's used already in wild horses.
And we see it.
And we see how the release system works. And when you believe that and you see it works, why can't you transfer those pieces to anything else? Because you see how it works so eloquently with our pony pones. So the video will help you to understand how to actually go to your horses and help them to also release. Because remember, every single time we work with a horse, we too, being our humanness, we bring stuff to the horse. So it's so beautiful to just add it into what you do already. Yeah. You ride every day, get rid of do the release system on them as well. So it's a beautiful little video. So one thing we always suggest is when you try this on your horse is I just have a halter and a lead rope on. Don't make your horse stay. So for example, even at a rail, when a horse is being groomed, I don't tie my horses because one thing I know, horses always need to feel safe. If they don't have an exit, they don't have safety. So we always untie our horses when we're going to work with them, so we can see if what we're bringing to our horses makes them want to stay because we're safe as humans, or does it make them want to go? So we always believe in the exit because, see, I want to exit. I want to exit.
You have to stay till the end of the live, Carrie.
No, not exit here. See, my brain went somewhere else. So anyways, what we do then is we let that horse be free. And we do kind of like a little sweeping, if you will. You can do your full hand. You can do just energy. It's whatever it is that you feel is the best for your horse. Because remember, energy is alive. Energy moves. So what we personally do is go from the wither. But I know people in Reiki, they go from the head down. But it's the mother's muzzle goes onto her baby. So there's some nice pressure. It's not full pressure, but some nice pressure. And what she does is she sweeps the baby all the way across her back, on the buttocks, all the way down her leg. And then she just kind of blows it to the ground. So it kind of releases it and takes it to the ground. And she does this sweeping motion to her horse. So this is what we do with them. So when you're first working with them, though, we know it's kind of like humans. There's very confident humans that they know how to release. They don't carry the world on their humanness. Although right now, I think
there's a lot of carrying. Right? Yeah.
But most times you can. Same thing with a horse. They know how to. Maybe they've been with their mom long enough. They know those techniques to use. Because here's the thing, as humans, oh, so many of these little babies are taken away from their moms way too soon.
That's what I was going to say.
So
too.
the babies aren't getting the understanding of how it is to be, get rid of the things that they no longer need. So with our horse Kokanee, for example, his heart was so huge. He wanted to help so many people, but you see, we didn't know what was happening at the time, and it actually wrecked him. The people that we were having come into our programs, it wrecked him so bad. He actually became a very, very dangerous horse. And it actually wasn't until we took Leah Dick's workshop, and she's on here as well, because she has a phenomenal horse communication, horse culture, all with science, all with research, and with a veterinarian. That's when it changed for Kokanee, so that we understood how we can help our horse. So he was actually abandoned as a baby. So you see, he never knew, that's right, how to get rid of the things that he couldn't, that weren't necessary anymore,
and
right?
he didn't even know how to accept it. This is why it's so important for them to be able to
move while you're doing this.
He didn't at first know how to accept that piece. And even with the pressure, sometimes we had to start a little bit lighter with him. Sometimes some horses you're just not even touching, and you're just going over, getting them, used to the idea of what you're doing before you can actually get there and grow with them on it as well. But yeah, he didn't know, because he didn't have that experience with his mom to help him release or to show him how. So it took some serious work to get him to a place where he wasn't even okay with knowing what the heck we were doing to him at the same time. Now,
they all love it. Like they all, confident horses, non-confident horses, they all love it. You'll see they do the big yawn, the big releases after you have done this. Like, it is a beautiful thing to help a horse to feel safe, because they don't have to carry stuff that, or block. They don't have to do those things. And if you go and you watch your herd, you will see how your horse uses their teeth literally and goes to all parts of the fascia band. Man, we could give so many things away. So that
I know,
you could see all the fascia bands and where they're working, and you'll see they go all the way through the body. They'll go to the tail, they go down their legs, like they're really getting rid of all the things that the horse doesn't need anymore. And you'll see they always take it to the ground, always take it to the ground. So it is really exciting. We know you're going to love this video, but remember, it's not about controlling the horse. The horse needs to feel safe. Allow him to have an exit, because we don't have to control our horses. We don't have to make them stay to accept this. We have to just show them that we're starting to understand what it is that they need. And in turn, it's something that we need, because you'll see in the video, I personally say this is, again, your own thought piece to everything you do, because
we both say different things.
Yeah, you are your own gift. Remember that. You don't want to take the words that aren't you. So mine, when I go to the horse and I breathe, so I use the breathing technique that I just told you, and I just think it in my head, and as I'm breathing and going over the horse, I just say, get rid of all the things that you no longer need, and I take it to the ground. I do it again, get rid of all the things you no longer need to take, and I take it to the ground, or whatever, you know what I'm saying.
You'll see in the video.
And then I always start with their heart, or at the front of their body as well. And I always give lots of gratitude, love, that they're doing such an amazing job in helping humans. And then I take that to the ground too. So I kind of get rid of the stuff, and then I give love and gratitude for everything that they do for us on their front leg. So then you go and you do it on the other side. So you'll see in the video how we don't keep the horse there. You'll see how the horse reacts, but it will be something your horses, once they get used to it, they flip in level. We've been globally around the world, and we do this on every horse, and every horse is like low head, yawning,
even the high strung guys, like those minis, remember? The minis were like, what? they were hilarious. But we started releasing them, and they were like, oh, now this is something I can get on board with. And it was amazing, because they were moving, little minis.
And they were biting us. Just so you know, these little minis on our calves, they were like, pay attention. to what it is that I'm telling you.
That's right. And when we did, and we stopped and we said, no, these guys are horses too. The turnaround with these little guys was amazing. But we did the release on them. And it was so amazing to see how they were doing circles. And then all of a sudden this release comes and they're yawning and they're stopping and they're chilling and their head's coming down and their legs are, like it was beautiful to see how much of a change can come about just by allowing them to know you're listening and to help them to release some of the stuff that they take on that they maybe don't know how to get rid of themselves. I love
Regina there.
Yeah. Which one? Oh,
this one.
Oh, yeah. I love the don't believe in hobbling. I never want to take the horse's ability away to flee.
Isn't that the truth? Because if we don't give them an exit, how are they ever going to feel safe?
Yeah.
Like we as humans always need to have an exit. We work with a lot of at-risk people too. And, when it's time to make yourself feel safe, like you got to sometimes flee and get out of the situation that you're in to be able to feel that peace, right?
Sure.
Of safety.
And my grounding them is the best ever. It
I know.
So is. And then I love this one too. My most mentally sound horse was with mom for a year and naturally weaned by mom when the next baby came.
Oh,
so that's
I got the
cool
shivers.
too.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the hairs, but I got the shivers. Thank you for sharing that.
Because it is so lovely to give them and allow them to have that time with mom to learn so many things. Yes, they do learn everything they really need to know within the first 24 hours, but all of those other skills and character pieces and personality stuff, that all builds with being with mom too.
So the 2 gifts today we are giving away is the research mapping, which again, it's not body heat. It's actually the stimulus that happens inside of us as a human and
the speed of the energy.
The speed of the energy and how that energy goes to our horse. So this is why we want you to see as a human what happens to the humans, and that's where the horses are
what they see
and what they're reacting and what they're feeling too. Okay.
Yeah.
The second one is we are going to give you a video on how to release your horse. And again, think about this. When you say get rid of all the things you no longer need to carry, I do it for me too. So this is why I say I can't be around my horse 100 times a day. So sometimes I pat myself. Sometimes I just, okay, get rid of it, Carrie. Get rid of it. I do. I pat my chest and probably because I'm flat. So it doesn't hurt anything while I'm doing that. I am.
Oh, what? With a cigarette burn under your eye.
I'm just so pretty. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, because I'm flat.
But really keep it up. You will see the more often you continually just make it a part of what you do with your horse. Even in grooming, that's why shedding, those shedding blades, I love them so much because even as I'm shedding, I'm always saying the same thing. Oh, get rid of it. Just get rid of it. New day, new life, new moment. Get rid of everything, right? So it's so nice to always be thinking in those ways because that's a release, not only for our horses, but for us as well. Oh, so email Carolyn.
Oh,
that's what I was going to say to you. So for the 2 gifts, just email Carolyn and then we'll just send it out to you through the email.
Yep. So it's up here on the screen, Carolyn@equineconnection.ca. I love Joyce. Grounding is so amazing to watch. It really is. I love that piece too. And Lenora, mares seem less able to relax when they're first going into heat in the first few days. Well, maybe they're premenstrual too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
true.
Fair, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
And some get really itchy. And I'm not saying itchy.
Yeah.
I'm putting another letter in front of that. That's right. And some you wouldn't even know it's happening to them because we have 3 mares and 2, clear is about. Is that right?
Yes. Good.
Yay. And our other, you never know.
No.
You have no idea that she's ever in season.
Yep.
Oh, you are so welcome, Missy.
So yeah, send me off an email. I'm happy to send you guys that research and do put in other ways that we can help each other out because we are life changers and ways that you release too in the comments, just so people rewatching this or maybe the people watching now can see different ways that maybe they hadn't considered yet to be able to have that release for themselves as well. Because it's stuff we need, guys.
Absolutely. And thank you all so much for helping me with my eye. I really do appreciate that. And all of you Reiki people, if you want to send some energy right there, I'm okay with that too. It's so weird when you look in a video, you're never on the side that you're supposed to be on.
This one doesn't do the mirror reflect. So we're opposite of where we actually are in our brains when we look at it. That didn't make sense.
I know. Okay. There we go.
All right. So you guys, I look forward to your email. Next week, we will see you on as well. Is that true?
Yeah,
Yes,
9
it
a.m.
is. 9
Mountain time.
a.m. Mountain time. So we will see you guys then. And remember, you are life changers.
You are. Every single one of you is a gift to this earth, and we got to stay together. We got to stick together. We got to help each other as humans and our beautiful living beings, whether it be horses, dogs, cats. What do you have?
A bearded dragon.
A bearded
corn
dragon
snake.
and a corn snake. Whatever it is, we have to help all living beings together, and together we can definitely make changes. So have an amazing week, you life changers, you.
See you all next